My name is Felicity, and I'm with Cloud Sherpas in Atlanta, Georgia, and it's my pleasure to introduce you to yet another portion of Google Apps, and that is Google Drive. So just what is Google Drive? Well, Google Drive is a cloud-based storage solution that lets you store your files, share your files, and collaborate in a real-time fashion. The collaboration challenges of today are this. You have a document, and you share that document with everyone on your team, and then everyone on your team will make edits to that document, and you end up with version 2.0. And of course, there's always going to be somebody late coming in with the document. In fact, it can just end up being a real headache, right? Right. Well, this is the collaboration challenges of the past. What we do now is instead of sharing a document via attachments, we bring the people to the document. That's what we do now. So now with Google Drive, we share documents online, real time, and people will have unlimited access to all of their Google Docs, and that would be documents, spreadsheets, presentations, and they can be shared, collaborated on, and worked on real time. So our agenda for today looks like this. We're going to start off looking at accessing Google Drive and looking at your Google Drive interface. We're also going to look at search and the application overview and folders. We're going to look at uploading and downloading documents, document sharing, using a form, which is a favorite, and looking at a brand new feature which will allow you to edit a document in Google Drive. At the end of the training, you'll know how to collaborate, you'll know how to share and manage documents, you'll know how to create a survey, and you'll know how to manage revisions and convert and unconvert documents. And yes, it's okay if you don't remember everything, because at the end of the training, we're going to point you to the Google Help. With that said, let's go ahead and jump right into our training. So, more than likely, you're going to be in your mail account when you access your Google Drive. So all you have to do is just go to your apps and select Drive. And now you are in your Google Drive account. So let's have an overview of what we're looking at. So you see right here in the upper left corner that you have Google Drive, and you can create. You can create a folder, a document, a presentation, a spreadsheet, a form, and a drawing. And you can also upload files and upload folders. Under My Drive is where you have all of your folders. And just like in your mail account where you had sub-labels, you can click right here and you see that you can also have your main folder, subfolders, and subfolders. And yes, you can go as deep as you desire. Also, when you hover over a folder, you click on this drop-down and you see all the other things you can do with your folder. The nice thing about folders is that folders can be shared. So, you have an option. You can share one document at a time, or you can share an entire folder, and everyone that has access to the folder will have access to all of the documents in that folder. Plus, as you see here, you can also share a folder with an entire distribution list. You can add a star to a folder, you can look at details and activity, you can move, rename, and give your folder a color. So there are a lot of different things that you can do with your folder. Just remember, click on the drop-down next to a folder, and you can see all the different things you can do. All of that is under My Drive, and My Drive will not only contain your folders, but all of the documents that you have created will be right there in My Drive. Then you have Shared with Me, and these are all the documents that have been shared with you. Remember, Google Drive is all about collaboration. So you're going to have lots of documents and folders, as you see, that are shared with you. You can also star documents, and you also have the ability to look at recent documents. So recent documents is going to list all of your documents in chronological order. Documents that have been recently edited, either by you, as you see, or by someone else. And trash. Now you know in your mail account you can keep your trash for 30 days. Well, in your Google Drive account, you can keep your trash forever. There's no time limit. If you want to delete something right away, you can just simply select the document and then delete forever. If you delete it forever, it means that it will be permanently deleted. And you can also restore a document, as you see here. And then under More, you have Offline. So if you want to work offline, you can install Google Offline and work offline. And All Items. So just like you have All Mail in your mail account, in your Google Drive account you have All Items, which will give you an opportunity to look at everything, whether it's shared with you or you are the owner. Everything will be in All Items. Now, the next section we're going to take a look at is the middle section. So I'm going to select this message, this document, New Zealand History Now. Now you notice as soon as I selected the document, all of my menu options appear. So I can share this document. I can also move this document to a folder. So when I click right here, you see it's currently in New Zealand because it's talking about New Zealand History Now. Now if I wanted to move this to international travel, watch. When I do that, now it's moved it to international travel, but it's taking it out of New Zealand. If I want it to be in both, all I have to do is press the Control key down, and now it's going to be in international travel and New Zealand. So now I'm just going to click on Move, and there you have it. It's in international travel and New Zealand. Again, another way to delete a document is just to click on this icon. I can also get a preview of this document by clicking on the preview icon, and then under More, I have additional options. And you'll notice that some of the options under More, like Share and Add a Star, are also repeated here. Now, another favorite is Details and Activity. So when I click here, you're going to see that I now have the ability to look at the details and activity regarding this document. So the details and activity is just going to give me a list of all of the details and all of the activity that's going on with that document. Plus, I have an opportunity to view the document two ways, with the list view and the grid view. So when I click here, I get the grid view of this document. So if you visually need to remember what a document looks like, you can click on the grid view, and you can always go back to the list view. So the next thing we're going to do is to take a look at our settings. So when I click right here, and you always have your density display in all of your Google apps, and then you also have your settings. So when we click on Settings, we see we have our language, our time zone, update indicators, which means anything that's been updated, whether it's owned by you or someone else, will automatically be in bold. As for storage, you have 30 gigabytes of space that you share with your mail account. This is great news. Only stored files count towards your storage limit. Google Docs format do not use up your storage space. What that means is if you have a Word, a PowerPoint, or an Excel document, if you convert those documents to a Google Doc, your 30 gigs is not touched. But if you keep the documents as a Word, PowerPoint, or Excel, then it will subtract from the 30 gig. So Google Docs, don't subtract from your 30 gig, but documents that you leave in their native format will. Let's go back to Google Drive. And then the next thing I want to talk about, still under settings, is upload settings. This is really important. It's important that under upload settings that you select confirm settings before each upload. Sometimes you'll want to upload a document and sometimes you will not, but you always want to be prompted, so you'll have an option. And then you have keyboard shortcuts. I know a lot of people like their keyboard shortcuts, and there they are, right there, easily accessible for you. So that is the overview of everything Google Drive. So now what I'm going to do a couple of things. I'm going to start off with showing you how to upload a document. So I'm going to click right here, and we're going to upload files. And when I click on upload files, we're going to upload a Word, we're going to upload a PowerPoint, an Excel, and a PDF. And then I'm going to click on Open. I wanted to open 4 different types of documents so that you can see. Now, when we are converting or uploading documents, you're always going to get the upload settings. And remember I said confirm settings before each upload should always be selected. As it is, we do not want to convert these documents. We're simply going to upload them. So when I click right here on Start Upload. So as you see, the documents go from upload to finishing. So those documents have simply been uploaded, and it means that they are in their native format. Anytime you see the PDF icon, the X, the P, the W, you know that these documents are in their native format. So that is how you simply upload a document. The next thing we're going to do is to go back to those same documents, but this time we are going to convert them. You select them the same way. I'm going to select the Word, the PowerPoint, the Excel, the PDF, and then I'm going to go Open again, but this time I'm converting. You see the difference? I'm converting these documents to the corresponding formats. So now it goes from from waiting to finishing to converted. So that's what you're going to see this time. And something else that you probably noticed different is that this time we have the word share, because documents that have been converted can be shared online, real-time, and edited. The other documents could be shared too, but they can't be edited. This is the difference between converted documents and unconverted documents. All documents in your Google Drive can be shared, but only documents that have been converted can be edited real-time, online, and shared. All right? Excellent. And also remember this, that the documents that have the icons, they are subtracting from your 30 gigabytes of space, but the converted documents are not. So now let's do before and after. I'd like to take a look at the original document. So we're going to look at the original document, and then we're going to compare the original document with the documents that were converted. So, first of all, you understand that anytime you upload documents, whether you upload and convert or simply upload, the original documents are still on your hard drive. So you got that, right? Right. So now what we're going to do is to take this document, 5 things you could do with attachments, and open it up. It's a Word document, and we're going to look at this document in its native format. This is Word. So this particular document, 5 things you can do with attachments, as we scroll along, we see that this particular document is 2 pages, and it has the graphics. In fact, it has 2 graphics on both pages. All right? Great. So now, let's look at the converted document and the uploaded document. All right? So we're going to go back to our Google Drive, and the document was 5 things you can do with attachments. So first, we're going to look at the document that was converted. We'll open it up, and let's do a comparison. Looks pretty good, doesn't it? As we scroll through, we see that this document has 2 graphics on page 1, just like the original, and it has 2 graphics on page 2, just like the original. And it is a 2-page document. All right, so again, here's the original, and here is the converted document. Pretty much apples to apples. Now, let's see what Google did with the document, 5 things you can do with attachments, that was uploaded, not converted. Let's open it up. Now, when you open a document that is not a Google Doc, it automatically opens in the preview mode. So when the document opens in the preview mode, you have some options here. I can open, and I can open with. But I'm just going to go ahead and click on Open. So the document is going to open up, and what we notice is that on page 1, it has 2 graphics. So far, so good. Let's scroll down. On page 2, it has 2 graphics. You'll notice all of the formatting has been maintained, and it looks just like the original. So now let's go back to the Google Drive, and I'm just going to close this. There you have it. So we have the original document, we have the uploaded document, and we have the converted document, and they all have the same name, 5 things you can do with attachments. So one of the other things I want to point out, that when you're working in Google Drive, Google will allow you to have a document that has the same name. The differences is we know that this document is a Google Doc because it has the Google Doc icon. This document is a Word document. And we also know the differences by time. All documents are time-stamped. This one came in at 5. This document came in at 5:01. Some other differences. You'll see right here, this document has the W, so you know it's a Word document. And if you look at the name of it, it ends with a .docx. So I'm going to click here. This document that was simply uploaded is in the view-only mode. What do I mean? I mean that you cannot make any edits to this document. So when I click right here on Edit, there's nothing to do. I have none of my formatting features. This document is view only. I can view page 1. I can view page 2. I can share this document, like I said. Google gives you lots of ways to share, and you can share anything. But there are no way for me to edit this document. Now, this document was converted. This document can be edited, as you see. So one document can be edited, the other document cannot, and I can go under my file, and I can see all of the different things that I can do with this document. All of my formatting menus are here, and I can even do a Control-Z and get everything back to its original state. So far, so good, right? So we see the differences. Plus, I can also edit this document. As you see, there are 3 different ways to edit. You have editing, suggesting, and viewing. None of those options were available when I was looking at the document that was simply uploaded. So far, so good? Excellent. Well, now what I want to do, I want to show you a couple of things. So let's say you upload a document as we've done, and then you change your mind. You want this document to be converted. All you have to do is right-click on the document. Did you see that? I can right-click on this document and open with. I'm going to open this with a Google Doc. So watch what happens. I'm going to click on Google Docs. And so now this document that was uploaded, not converted, is about to be converted. Did you see that? So now I have my editing menu. I have all of my formatting menus. As you see, I can do anything to this document that I could originally do to the document that was converted. So if you ever change your mind, just simply right-click, open with a Google Doc. So now, ladies and gentlemen, we have what? We have 3 versions of this document in Google Drive. We have the document that was not converted, simply uploaded. We have the document that was converted, and then we have the document that was converted from this particular document. They all still have the same name. So far, so good? Excellent. Now, the next thing I want to do, I want to show you what happens when you open a document as an attachment. For instance, Sydney has sent me an email that has an attachment. So I'm going to open it up. When I open this document, I see there are 2 attachments. There's a Word attachment and an Excel attachment. Now watch this. When you are working in an attachment and I click on this document, I now can open this. You see, open with Google Docs. We didn't have that option before. This is a new feature, allowing me to open it with Google Docs right from the preview mode. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Open with my Google Docs. What is it doing? It's converting the document to a Google Doc via the Chrome extension. Does everybody see that? This is great. Office editing for docs, sheets, and slides. You can now edit Word, Excel, and PowerPoint files from your hard drive, Google Drive, Gmail, that's what we're doing, and more using doc sheets and slides. All of your edits are automatically saved, and you can always save as the original format too. This is great. We're going to go ahead and click, we got it. So, as you see, this particular document, if you look here, it has the W, just like this document has the W. But this document was opened with Google Docs. This document wasn't. So even though this document has the W, you see it's in the view only mode. No way to edit. But this document, because I opened it, because it was an attachment, and when you open an attachment, it gives you an opportunity to open the document as a Google Doc, as you see. What's the difference? It allows me to edit. You see that? Now, it says edits will not be automatically saved, so I can just click on Save Now. Now, I now can go in. Let me show you what's happening. I now can go in and make edits to this document. You see, I can edit this document in the Office compatibility mode. Compatibility mode. All right, now let's take a look. From Chrome, this is a Chrome extension that you will have to add. So you see where I'm pointing? You want to click right here and go into Chrome, and then you want to click on Settings, and then you want to select extensions. When you do that, you'll see the Office Editing for Docs, Sheets, and Slides. This is the extension that you want to enable from Chrome. Office Editing and Docs, Sheets, and Slides. So you want to go to the Chrome store and you want to select or type in Office Editing for Docs, Sheets, and Slides. You don't have to type in the whole thing. If you type Office Editing, it'll populate, and this is what you want. Once you get that extension, you'll have the ability to edit in the Office compatibility mode. And so you'll be saving your changes as Google Docs. And there you have it. So you can go in and make your changes. So you can make your changes with or without converting it to a Google Doc. So you see it's still the W, here's the W, and I'm going in and making changes. Or I could go in here. This time I converted it to a Google Doc and still make changes. You have so many options when you're working with your Google Drive account. And you notice, let's go ahead, that both are called copy. They're both called a copy of. Here's the original document from, let's see, just close this out. So here's the original document, but when I convert it, it's called a copy of. All right? Excellent. Okay, so you now know everything about uploading documents, editing documents, converting documents. The next thing I want to talk about is what's really important, I think, and that's collaboration. So the big deal with Google is all about collaboration. So we are going to take a look at this document, New Zealand History Now. So we're going to open this document up, and when we do that, you are going to see that I am not the only person in this document. I am not alone. There are 4 other people in this document with me. Deborah, Nicholas, Shell, and Sydney. We're all in this document all at the same time. In fact, when you convert a document, up to 50 people can be in a document all at the same time making changes. So, as you look at my screen, you're going to see changes being made by other team members. You see that? So we can see where Deborah is in this document. And while Deborah is typing, we can also see that Shell is in this document. You see that? And Shell is in the document at the same time Sydney is in the document. And of course, we also have Nicholas in the document. So all 5 of us are in this document all at the same time making changes. Sydney, Deborah, Shell, and Nicholas. I can see exactly where they are in this document, and I can also see that the last edit was made by Sydney seconds ago. When I click right here, look what will happen. So I click here, and I now have revision history. So if you're wondering, how do you keep up with everything everyone has done? It's easy. You click on revision history, and I can see everything that has been done today, what was done in July, and so on and so forth. Watch this. I'm going to click right here on July 22nd. When I do that, I get to see this version of the document. I can continue to scroll down. In fact, watch this. I'm going to scroll all the way down to the very beginning. This document was originally created on May 31st of last year. When I click right here, look what I get. I get to see what this document looked like in the beginning. That's right. So when you're working in your Google Doc, all revisions are saved. The revisions are going to be there for as long as the document is there. So you can always just click, and you can see all the different changes and how the document has evolved, as you see here. And if you wanted to restore a version of the document, you can just click right here on Restore this revision, and then that version of the document would be restored. You see that? So not only is the document restored, but now the comments that were made to that particular document are there as well. And everyone that was in the document before will still be in the document now. As you see, Nicholas is still in the document, and so is Sydney, so is Shell, and so is Deborah. So when you restore a version of the document, it impacts everybody. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you collaborate in Google Drive. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the ability to edit. This is another feature, very nice, very new. Editing. I can edit the document directly. I can make suggestions, and that means my edits are not going to take until they are approved, or I can just view. So if I wanted to make suggestions, I'm going to click right here on Suggestions. So now this means this. When I'm typing, now, it's in Suggestions. And you see that? What is happening next year? Have a check mark to accept the suggestion, or an X to reject it. And all of the editors will have an opportunity to accept or reject. And they can also reply. But that's what it looks like when you are making a suggestion versus what everybody else was doing, which was just doing a direct edit. This time, if I just do a direct edit, I'm just going to go in and then just make a change like that. So you have a lot of different options when you're working in your Google Drive and you are collaborating with your team members. Speaking of comments and people being able to make comments, you can also do this. I can right-click on this document, or right-click on this particular word, click on comment, and I'm going to type, is this correct? And then I'm going to click on comment. And then anyone in the team could go in and answer, just like that. And so Deborah has answered. And so I can mark this as resolved, or I can click here and do another reply. Now, any comments that we make in this document are going to be saved. So watch this. I'm going to click right here on comments, and you see all of our comments are saved. In fact, the comments are saved from the very beginning of the document. The very first comment was made in June of last year. You can be notified when comments are made, you can receive an email notification for all the comments or for replies that are just sent to you, or you can decide to get no comments at all. Another thing that you can do when you're in the document is to chat. So you can chat back and forth with everybody that's in this document. So I can say, so I've just sent a chat to the team to ask them to finish the document by end of day. And so all of them can go in as long as they're in the document and they can reply. Now, I want to talk to you about what's the difference between a chat and a comment. So, comments are saved forever. So whatever you say in the comments are going to be saved as long as the document is saved. But your chat is not. So when you're in a document and you're chatting, the chat will only be there as long as the document is open. As soon as we close out of this document, our chat history is not saved. So chat history is not saved, but comments are. That's the difference. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is sharing this document. How do you get people involved? So you click on Share, and then you just simply decide whom you want to share the document with. So I'm going to share the document with Asher, and I'm going to share the document with Lisa. Now, when you share a document with someone, it automatically makes them an editor. But you can always click on this drop down, and you can change it to comment only or view only. So I'm going to leave Asher and Lisa as editors. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Send. Now I want you to notice something. Right here it says editors will be allowed to add people and change the permission. So right now, all of the editors have the same rights to this document that I have. I can always click on Change, and I can change it so that only the owner can change the permissions. So as it is now, and by default, editors are allowed to add people, change the permission, remove people. They can do everything that the owner can do, except editors cannot delete the document. Now, if I only want the editors to be able to edit the document and not add anyone, then I will switch it to only the owner can change the permissions. There's no right or wrong. It's all about what you want for that particular document. And you can always go in and change people to comment, to view, whatever you desire. And you never have to be concerned about the security of your document. You can always click on Change. Well, let me save my changes first. And then it always defaults to specific people, which means only the people that you shared the document with will be able to access the document. That is the default settings. You can change it to any of these 5 options, but it defaults to specific people, which is the highest level of security. And you can always learn more about the different visibility options by clicking here. I'm just going to click on Save, and then Done. Now, if you've worked with other word processing documents, you'll notice that the learning curve is going to be short, because if you've worked in any other word processing document, you'll see that the menu options that we have here are similar to the menu options that you've worked with before. One of the things that Google does have that's quite different is add-ons. Once again, you can click on Get Add-ons, and this is just a shortcut to the Chrome store that I mentioned earlier, and you can get your add-ons like the editing extension that I mentioned earlier. Also, under File, You can share the document. Again, like I said, Google gives you lots of ways to share the document. You can rename the document. You can also rename the document just by clicking on it. So if you wanted to rename it, you could just quickly click on it. The other thing that you can do is make a copy of a document. You can move it to a folder, move it to trash. Here's another way to see revision history. I usually click here to see revision history. It's just faster, but you also can see revision history here. Language, absolutely. You can have the document translated into another language, and you can download as. So if you create a document and then you want to download it as another document in another format, have at it. Easy to do. You can also email collaborators, and you can also email this document as an attachment. So if there's someone who needs to have access to the document but they don't have Google Drive, first of all, you can encourage them to get a free Google Drive account. And you can also, as Plan B, send the document to them as an attachment. So these are all the different things that you can do when you are working in your Google document. Now, the next thing that I want to do is to talk about one of my favorite features, and that is creating a form. So I'm going to click right here and create a form. Now, some of you may have worked with SurveyMonkey, and if you have, you're going to read the Google form. And if you haven't, you're going to enjoy it even more. So let's go ahead and take a look at creating a form. I'm going to create this form, and I'm going to call it the Google. We're going to have a Google Office Ice Cream Party. And I'm going to choose Cherry Blossom as the theme. And then I'm going to click on OK. Great. So the Google Office Ice Cream Party, the theme is Cherry Blossom. We are currently accepting responses. We can view responses and go to the live form. Now, under form settings, you have three options. You can require your users to log into the form, and you can automatically collect their user's name, and you can get a progress bar. Well, our form is not going to be long enough for a progress bar, great, but I am going to show you what happens when you require them to sign in. So if you want the form to not be anonymous, then you're going to require a sign-in so that you can collect their names. But if you don't require a sign-in, the form will then be accessible to people outside of your domain. So if you're sending the form to people who aren't in your domain, you want to make sure that you don't require a sign-in. Got that? All right, great. Since we are sending the form to people in our domain, we will go ahead and require a sign-in. So the form description, we are celebrating going Google. And our question. So our first question is going to be favorite flavor. Help text is going to be, please select one. Now, it defaults to being multiple choice, which is great, because our first question is going to be multiple choice. All right, now, we're going to make this a required question. And so now I'm going to click on Done. Excellent. Now, I'm going to add a second question, and that's going to be checkboxes. And this one is going to be favorite toppings. And we're going to allow them to select as many as desired. All right, so those are the toppings, and we're going to make this a required question, and once again, we're going to select Done. And then our last question is going to be choose from a list. Favorite cone. No help text this time. All right. And now we're going to click on Required Question again and select Done. So now we have our 3 questions: favorite flavor, favorite toppings, and favorite cone. And did you notice that every time I hover inside, I have my menu options to edit, to duplicate, to delete. When my cursor is not inside of the form, I don't see any of my menu options. But as soon as my cursor is inside, I have my menu options. So I'm going to scroll down, and now we're looking at confirmation page. Now it says by default, your response has been recorded. You can change that or leave it as it is. You can also show a link to submit another response. You can publish and show the link form results, and you can allow the responders to edit their responses after submitting. I'm just going to click right here on Send Form. So now I'm going to send the form, and I'm going to send it to Deborah, to Sydney, to Nicholas, and to Shell. You can include the form in the email. Now, if your form is very long, I don't recommend that you include it in the email. You will deselect that if you have a long form. My form is short, 3 questions. So I'm going to leave it. So now I'm going to go ahead and click on Send. All right, so I've just sent my form, and what we're going to do now, we're going to wait for the answers to start to come in. So I'm going to wait for Deborah and the rest of the gang to answer the form. Meanwhile, I'm going to go back to Google Drive, and you see I have a brand new document, and that document is the responses. So here's the form that was created, and Google automatically creates the responses. And so we're waiting for the responses to come in, and they should be coming in shortly. You're going to see just how quickly all of the answers start to come in. So let's go ahead and click on the responses. And we see that Deborah's response has already come in. You see just how fast that is? So Deborah's responses come in already. And so we'll just wait for the other responses to come in. And then we're also going to take a look at what it looks like when Sydney responds, because I want you to see what it looks like from the point of view of the end user. So I just want a couple of more to come in so we can have some good responses here. So we have Shell's and Deborah's, great. And Nicholas. Meanwhile, we're waiting for Nicholas. Let me go ahead and show you what it looks like from the end user point of view by going to Sydney's account. So here we are in Sydney's account, as you see, and this is the Google Office ice cream party. So the email is going to come into their inbox, and then what they'll do is open it. When they open it, they'll see the link. Remember, I said you can include the link or not include the link. They'll see the link, and then they'll also see the form inside. In fact, this is what they'll see, the form inside, and you can either include the form or not include the form and just have the link. Well, most people, when they see the link and the form, they're just going to go for the form, right? Right. So Sydney would just go in and make her selections, just like this, as you see. Now, when she selects to complete the form and ignores the link, she has the option to review and submit. So we're going to go ahead and click on Review and Submit. I want to show you what that looks like. When you do the Review and Submit, you get a confirmation page. And she'll say, yes, submit my response. But if she decided that she only wanted to select the link, if she selected the link, she would automatically come directly to the form. You see how that works? So the link brings you directly to the form, wherein if you complete the form inside of the email, then you'll have to submit a confirmation. So we're going to do it again with Sydney. So you see, I also have allowed people to submit more than one time. That's why she's able to submit twice. So now we're going to go back to our responses, and this is what we have. You see how fast that is? We have the timestamp, favorite flavor, username, favorite toppings, and favorite cone. Now, when we click right here on the form, we see we can edit the form, we can send the form, we can go to the live form or embed it, we can show summary of responses, or we can unlink the responses from the form. We're going to click right here on Show Summary of Responses. When we do that, you see what we have? We have a pie chart for favorite flavor. We have a bar chart for favorite toppings, another pie chart for favorite cone, and when we scroll down, we have the number of daily responses. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is how you can work with your Google form. It's an excellent feature, so user-friendly and very practical. So that concludes our training. Remember, if you want additional information about anything we covered today, you can always go to Help, and you can type in a question. You can look at suggested articles, and you can also click on the Help Center. Thank you so much. Enjoy going Google. Goodbye.